Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video I'm sharing this landscape sketch study I created using a mix of Himi Gouache and Neocolor II crayons. This piece is more about exploration than perfection, loosening up, responding to the landscape and hopefully letting materials guide the process. I'll walk you through how I approached this, what I focused on and a few things I learned along the way. So for this sketch I kept things simple. I used the Himi Gouache for the soft washes and broader colour areas. You can see here I'm just smashing this down as fast as possible without really focusing too much on any details at all. Neocolor II crayons for the line work, texture and accents, which you'll see as we work through this, and also to give me that pop of colour, and a sketchbook with a slightly textured paper. Now this sketchbook is one of my Stillman and Burns, which you've seen me use before. And of course, as usual, just a bit of water. And well, when I mean a bit, I actually mean a lot. But you guys know me by now, I do like adding a lot of water to pretty much everything. I really like this combination because the gouache gives you that softness and the opacity, while the Neocolor brings the energy and the structure. Before putting anything down, I spent a moment just kind of observing the landscape. So obviously this is another painter's painting, so they've already pre-structured it in the way that they want to. What drew me in was the movement, the way the river cuts through the valley and leads your eye into the distance. There's also a really strong contrast between the soft hills and the sharper, more textured foreground. So instead of focusing on details, I thought about the overall flow, so where it's going, the big shapes, the hill, the rocky bits, the stone wall and the river, and how I could guide the viewer's eye through the composition by using the river to guide. I started by loosely blocking in the main shapes as you've seen, and then I kept the paint quite diluted, and then I'm working the neo colours very much over the top. I used the gouache to kind of block out specifically the hills first, because that's the biggest chunk that you're going to need in this painting to really kind of pull everything together. The valley floor is a lighter open space, so I tried to make sure that it was as flat as possible with limited texture, which gives that really nice open feel. At this stage everything is fairly loose, so I'm not worrying about edges or precision, just capturing all that structure. Once the base is down, I'm now building a sense of depth. I push the distant colours and areas by keeping them lighter and also bringing the darker values, starting to get those in down at the front. That river becomes really important here because it acts like a visual pathway. So I use the slightly cooler tones and sharper lines to help it stand out and guide that eye. Now this is where things get more expressive. I brought in the neo colours here just to define forms and add energy to that sketch, giving sweeps of colour and line work to the river and to the hill in order to be able to kind of pull that together and give an impression of movement across the land. The foreground is where I allowed myself to be the most expressive. I use warm tones, my reds and oranges, my deeper browns. These are all colours that I really like to kind of get in. You can see here, this is a gorgeous peach tone. It's a really gorgeous warm colour. And yes, you'd be really surprised, but you do see this an awful lot out in the environments, especially around here. And I've kind of picked colours that are, yes, whilst in the original painting by the artist, are also very symbiotic with the sort of colours that I expect to see in the Scottish landscape around me here, and that's really useful for just picking up little highlights but giving those pops of colour that really give you interest. Sometimes the Scottish landscape can be a bit grey. I think that's the polite way of putting it, just a bit grey and therefore a bit flat and very neutral, and these kind of interesting colours really just kind of give you drama and really help. So there's less concern here for realism. It's more about capturing the feeling of the rough terrain and the vegetation and that movement. And the contrast between a detailed, energetic foreground and a softer background really helps create that depth. At this point, I'm stepping back, looking at the overall balance. I'm bringing in and reinforcing the darks and reinforcing specifically the river's path here, just to really add a few connecting lines to unify that composition. One thing I try to keep in mind is not to overwork it. It's easy to lose that initial freshness if you keep adding too much, so I'm keeping a really light hand on where I'm putting all these lines. This kind of study is really valuable because it removes pressure. You're not you're not, I'm not, anybody's not really. We're not trying to create a finished piece at this point, because this is my sketchbook, this is your sketchbook, this is your time to play. You're experimenting, you're learning, and you're responding in the moment. And that is absolutely key to be able to get more creative flow into the painting. Mixing materials like Gouache and the Neocolor II opens up a whole world of possibilities because they're both so really flexible. You can get that balance between control and spontaneity while also getting really exciting pops from the Neocolors. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this, and the process behind this sketch. If you're feeling stuck or you're overthinking your work, I'd really recommend doing studies like this. Pick an image from Pinterest or just off Google, Street View something, just grab something that really just captures your imagination and try to recreate it. Look at how the artist has put down layers, used colour, used texture, used value, used shape. What have they done? How have they done it? How can you work with that in a similar way? What methods can you take from that for your own learning and for your own practice? And also look at the way colour palettes evolve from these sorts of things. You know, adding the red in here just adds a massive amount. And you watch what happens when I add the water. Classic Neocolor, you know, as a crayon it goes down and it's really rough. It feels like, well, it looks like it's going to feel rough when you touch it, and it's a gorgeous deep colour, but when you wet it, oh my god, it just explodes. It just creates this red explosion on this page as soon as I add this water. And that's the sort of thing and the fun you're going to have with this when you start playing with your different materials. Pastels are the same, so if I'd put some of my red pastel down, it would have had exactly the same process as well. As soon as I add water, it just the pigment, when it gets wet, it just explodes with colour. And that's one of the great things between the neo pastels and also soft pastels as well. They're actually very similar in form. One's just got more wax in than the other. But they both have that ability to suddenly bring forth colour without any hard work. Sometimes it can go a little too far, and I did find this at this point in the painting. Maybe I put a little bit too much red in at this point along the stone wall, and I had to pull it back, but that's easily done because you can easily work over it, so I don't find it too much of a problem. But it's just this great burst of colour that you just love. I love. You can hear I love it, and hopefully you guys get that as well. And hopefully when you're playing yourself with including pops of colour and just bringing something really vibrant in, you get that feeling as well of just, wow, look at that. Just how cool is that bit of colour? Just that little corner of the painting, not the rest of it, just that little bit. And as your eye kind of wanders over the painting, you get that from lots of, you specifically try to add that in different ways and in different places in order to be able to get that real interest and that kind of curiosity of looking at a painting and then looking at it and looking at it, and every time you look at it you see something slightly different. So yes, I have at this point in time the red to the left hand side, but do you know what also draws my eye is this really pop of bright blue bang in the middle of the two pages from the river. And it's just it's such a stunning colour. It's such a beautiful blue. And it kind of leads you down to this block of the dark Payne's grey that I've got in, which makes these beautiful crisp lines. And that leads you back into the rubble of the stonework, which is at the bottom here. And this is what I mean when I say it kind of leads you round the painting in lots of different ways. The more you explore and the more you look at it, the more you actually find. So if you're feeling stuck or you're overthinking your work, I'd really recommend doing studies like this. Try to keep them loose. Try having fun with new materials and focus on the experience rather than the actual outcome. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I'm assuming you're watching this and you're not just staring into space. And I'll see you in the next one. Remember to like and subscribe. I know I repeat that every time, but I also know some of you are not subscribed, and I'm trying to get my numbers up. I'm almost at 2,100. Isn't that cool? Anyway, I will see you all soon. Remember to like and subscribe. Remember to ask any questions you like down in the comments below, and I will see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.